Hello, my name is Kelly, and today I will be talking about the critical issue I decided to research on. So my selected critical issue is over the perceptions of non-native speaker teachers versus native speaker teachers. Therefore, my research question is, what are students and teachers' thoughts and or perceptions of non-native speaker teachers and native speaker teachers? I had two data collection methods for my one research question, which is a teacher interview and a student survey. As you can see here in this data collection tools table, this is the protocol and the timeline of my research. As for the data summary of a teacher interview that I did, I interviewed two language teachers here at Fairfax High School, which is where I'm placed for my student teaching. I asked them these 4 questions below, such as what are their thoughts on non-native speaker teachers and native speaker teachers. I also asked if they were a student, what teacher would they prefer to teach them about a language's culture. Lastly, I asked them for advice for non-native speaker teachers because the two teachers that I interviewed are native speakers of Korean. So for my analysis of the data that I collected, there are agreements and disagreements between the two interviewees. Both agreed that non-native speaker teachers can share the struggle of language learning because, quote, from interviewee B, that teacher was once in the student's shoes of learning a language. They also agreed that they prefer a native speaker teacher to teach about a language's culture, quoting from interviewee A saying that there are many different ways to describe the color yellow in Korean. Overall, it seemed that interviewee A was more positive towards non-native speaker teachers than interviewee B because interviewee B stated that she thought it would be difficult for non-native speaker teachers to explain very complex information or the language structure of Korean, for example. Interviewee B seemed more positive just because in her student teaching experience, she was actually a student teacher in a Japanese language classroom, not a Korean language classroom. Moving on to the data summary and analysis of the student survey. Big disclaimer, only 6 students responded to my survey. I decided to make the survey optional and also anonymous. So not all 30 students that I distributed the survey to answered the survey. The areas that I asked in the survey include pronunciation, reading, vocabulary, and culture. The 2 circle charts that you see here, the first circle chart on the left, is all 6 students agreed that they prefer a native speaker teacher to teach them English in the US. As for the circle chart on the right, 5 students said they preferred a native speaker, while 1 student actually preferred a non-native speaker if they were in a foreign country outside of the US and learning English, stating that they thought the non-native speaker teacher could relate to them more in helping them learn English outside of the US. Overall, it looked like that most students preferred a non-native speaker in some areas while preferring non-native speaker teachers in other areas. Quoting from some of the student responses, a lot of them said that they preferred native speaker teachers because they can provide them real-world and cultural experiences and also complex words and slang vocabulary. A lot of them also stated that they believe non-native speaker teachers have an accent, so it would not help them in their language learning. As you can see for the bar chart that we have here, I show an example of the results I collected from pronunciation, all 6 students preferred native speakers to teach them pronunciation, while it is quite diverse for the answers I received for a non-native speaker teacher teaching pronunciation. Now moving on to implications. As you can see from my research, nothing has changed. Non-native speaker teachers are still looked down upon from both students and their teacher colleagues, even though today 80% of the world's English teachers are non-native English speakers. 2/3 of students currently in MA or PhD TESOL programs in the US are non-native speakers. That means that there's a large number of non-native speakers buying into the native speaker fallacy. This means that it can be difficult for them to get teaching jobs because they are commonly looked down upon or rated weaker than native speaker student teachers because they are, quote, viewed not good enough in teaching in their second language. And as we can see from literature research, it looks like nativism and nationality are still among the top factors of discrimination in teaching positions. Overall, I plan to continue further research by interviewing more teachers or having more students fill out the survey just to have a more accurate data collection. I think that we should offer additional support and tailored classes to help non-native speaker teachers understand how they can improve on teaching in their second language. We can also help native speaker teachers understand non-native speaker students. Overall, I think it's really important to try to find a connection and communicate with everyone in order to build a community that is positive for everyone to learn in that environment. Here are my references. Thank you for listening to my presentation.